Okay, today we are going to write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. The other day we talked about what parallel lines are, what perpendicular lines are. Today we're going to actually write equations of lines for them. So I want to remind us about our song. Let me unzoom this a little bit. Okay, to the tune of Hickory Dickory Dock. Parallel lines have same slope, but perpendicular lines have slope that is opposite reciprocals. That means flip and switch. Hey, that means flip and switch. Yeah, flip the fraction, switch the sign. Now you've got it. Okay, so just reminding us that parallel lines have the same slope as one another. Perpendicular lines, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. That means whatever the fraction is, you flip it over and you switch its sign. Okay, so let's try. Let me make this just a little bit bigger so we can all see a little better. This says write the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the graph of the given equation. Okay, this is the point I want to take it through. So the x-coordinate is 5, the y-coordinate is 9, and I want the line to be parallel to this one. So what does this line have a slope of? This line has a slope of 2/5. Well, if I want the line to be parallel, do I want the same slope or the opposite reciprocal? I want the same slope. Parallel lines have same slope. All right, so if this line has a slope of 2/5, the parallel line will have a slope of 2/5. Okay, so now that I know what my point is, I have my point 5,9, and I have my slope 2/5, I can write my equation. So anytime I'm given a point, I know I'm going to use point-slope form, and since I have my point and I have my slope, I'm ready to go. So let me write down our point-slope form formula. Hopefully you guys have memorized this by now. So it goes y minus the y-coordinate. Which of these is the y-coordinate? 9. We already talked about it. I want the parallel slope, which is 2/5. And then x minus the x-coordinate, and the x-coordinate is 5. Okay, I'm not going to leave it like this because up here at the top it said to write the equation in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to keep going. So next thing up, I'm going to distribute my 2/5. So I need to take 2/5 times x, which is 2/5 x. Then I need to take 2/5 times -5. I'm just going to do this off to the side real quick. 2/5 times -5. I'm going to multiply straight across, straight across. If I do that, 2 times -5 is -10. 5 times 1 is 5. And if I reduce this, I get a -2. So I'm going to put -2. Then I just bring down my y minus 9. To get y by itself, I get rid of my -9 by adding 9. So I add 9 to both sides, and things start dropping like flies. The y drops, the equals drops, the 2/5 x drops. And then I just have to figure out what is -2 plus 9. And that makes a positive 7. So this line here and the line I started with, they're parallel because they have the exact same slope as one another, but they do have different y-intercepts. So I know they're not the same line, they're just parallel lines. And I could always put this in my calculator and this in my calculator, and you could see for yourself that they actually are parallel. Okay, next one. I want to be parallel to this equation right here. So what is the slope of this equation? -2/9. If I want to be parallel, do I want the same slope or the opposite reciprocal? I want the same slope. Parallel lines have same slope. So if this line has a slope of -2/9, I want my parallel slope to be -2/9. And then this is the point I'm going to take it through. 18 is the x-coordinate, -10 is the y-coordinate. So since I have my point and I have my slope, I'm ready for point-slope form. So let's lay it down in front of us and start plugging in everything we know. So I go y minus the y-coordinate. Which of these is the y-coordinate? Negative 10. That minus the negative right there is going to make one big plus. Equals my parallel slope, and my parallel slope is negative 2 over 9. And then in parentheses, it's going to go x minus the x-coordinate, and the x-coordinate is 18. Okay, because I want this in slope-intercept, I have to keep on going. So next thing I need to do is distribute. So negative 2/9 times x makes negative 2/9 x. Then I need to take negative 2 over 9 times a negative 18. So let me just do that over here. Negative 2 over 9 times a negative 18. If I multiply straight across, negative 2 times negative 18, I get 36. 9 times 1, I get 9. And what does that reduce to be? A positive 4. So I'm going to put plus 4. I bring down my y plus 10. In order to get y by itself, I need to move my positive 10. So I subtract 10 from both sides. And things start dropping like flies. That goes, bring down the y, bring down the equals, bring down the negative 2/9 x. And a positive 4 minus 10 makes a negative 6. And there is the equation of my parallel line. You can see when you compare it to this equation up here, they have the same slope, which is why they're parallel, but they do have different y-intercepts. So parallel lines have same slope. Flipping the paper. Now we're going to go to perpendicular. So I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I want a line that's perpendicular. So if I want a line that's perpendicular, do I want the same slope or the opposite reciprocal? Opposite reciprocal. Parallel lines have same slope, but perpendicular lines have slope that is opposite reciprocals. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing I did a little bit ago, but this time I want the perpendicular line. So this line has a slope of 1/3. If I want the perpendicular line, I want the slope to be the opposite reciprocal. So that means flip and switch. I flip the fraction over and I switch its sign. What would that give you? Negative 3 or negative 3 over 1. I'm going to write it as negative 3. This is the point I want to take it through. The x-coordinate's negative 3, the y-coordinate's 1. I've got my point, I've got my slope. So here I go, ready for point slope. Now I just start plugging it all in. Y minus the y-coordinate. Which of these is the y? 1. I want the perpendicular slope, which we said is negative 3. And then x minus the x-coordinate, and the x-coordinate is a negative 3. And that minus the negative is going to make a big plus. Time to clean it up. I distribute my negative 3. Negative 3 times x makes negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 3 makes a negative 9. I bring down my y minus 1. And then, if I want y by itself, how do I move my negative 1? I add 1 to both sides, and things start dropping like flies. Drop the y, drop the equals, drop the negative 3x. And how much is negative 9 plus 1? A negative 8. So this is the equation of my line that is perpendicular to this one up here. You can see that their slopes are opposite reciprocals, so I know that these lines will be perpendicular. Remember the upside down T means perpendicular? Okay. Same thing. I want to be perpendicular. So what does this line have a slope of? Negative 5. Remember, negative 5 is understood to be over a 1. So if I want the perpendicular slope, I want the opposite reciprocal. That means flip and switch. What do you get when you flip this fraction over and switch its sign? You get a positive 1/5. To be opposites, one's going to be negative, one's going to be positive. Okay, this is the point I want to take it through. 10 is the x-coordinate, negative 3 is the y-coordinate. Since I have my point and I have my perpendicular slope, I'm ready for point slope. So let me write my equation right in front of my face. And now I start plugging in. Y minus the y-coordinate. Which one is the y-coordinate? Negative 3. That minus the negative is going to make a plus. Here I want the perpendicular slope, and the perpendicular slope is 1/5. So 1/5. And then x minus the x-coordinate, which is 10. Okay, if I distribute 1/5 times x, that's easy. 1/5 x. Then I want to take 1/5 times negative 10. So let me just do that off to the side here. 1/5 times negative 10. Multiply across. 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. 5 times 1 is 5. What do you get if you reduce negative 10 over 5? Negative 2. So I'm going to put minus 2. And then I bring down my y plus 3. And then to get y by itself, I need to move my positive 3. So how do I do that? I subtract 3 from both sides. And things start dropping like flies. Drop the y, drop the equals, drop the 1/5 x. And then how much is negative 2 minus 3? Negative 5. And here is the equation of my perpendicular line to this line up here. You can see their slopes are opposite reciprocals, so I know that they are perpendicular. Yay for us! We're done!